You are listening to the Children of Film podcast.
We're a 1.5 hour long dick joke. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am your host, Jaren, with my most gracious, some may even say kind of peculiarly sexy, Jacob.
Were you trying to say gracious then, or courageous?
I was a bit of both.
Courageous.
I'm trying to mix it up. Courageous. You know, so like...
Because I'm both gracious and courageous.
Exactly. I mean, you're not humble. That's one thing you're not. But, you know, I was trying to mix it up a little bit. So, Jacob, how are we today?
16. I'm alright. It hasn't been too long since we last uploaded. We're recording this on the 17th of April, but I'm going to be going away over the weekend, so we're just getting it out of the way quick.
It's been 6 days.
If any news has come up in the last few days that we didn't cover it, that's why we recorded this at the start of the week.
We're only recorded a day early.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it's, you know, that's a day of news we could have missed. Like, remember that one, we uploaded a podcast and we missed the Thor trailer by one day, so we reported on it like a week late.
I think it might have been the Homecoming trailer. We missed it by that's a couple hours, I think.
It is. It was like 3 hours.
If the big trailer drops on Tuesday, it's like, yep, we missed it. But
yeah, but
we've still got an action-packed show for you today, if I do say so myself.
Goddamn right, Jacob. Do you want to start us off with a little bit of a display of your diary, Jacob? May I ask you?
I went first last week, so I'm going to let you go first this week.
You know what? I'd absolutely love to.
No, you know what? You did go first last week. I remember editing it now, so I will go first this
Thank you
week.
for that.
Not that it matters.
It does. It really does.
So I left off last week's diary display with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I watched it just before we recorded, and right after we recorded, I watched The Void, a movie that came out this year recently on video on demand and stuff, and it's one I've been following for a little while because it was funded by Kickstarter. It's this low budget practical effects heavy horror movie, and it's pretty damn disappointing. The practical effects were insane, some really like disgusting meaty creatures and shit, but on a character and plot level it didn't really work. Like, none of the characters were interesting or likable. Knives Chow from Scott Pilgrim was in it, and I'm like, hey, that's nice. Knives.
Was she a main?
And hey, I guess so. There's like 6 characters or whatever.
Bit of banter.
But it's just, the effects were awesome, but the plot didn't go anywhere, and it was just vague for the sake of being vague, because I felt like they had no idea what to do with it. It felt like the guys just have all this talent with making like puppetry and creatures and stuff, and they're like, oh, we want to put this in a movie, so they just kind of lazily came up with a plot as an excuse to make this effects movie. And I appreciate the use of practical effects, but it wasn't a very good movie. I think Jaren talked about this last week, the Netflix movie Frat Star.
Yeah, I did.
It was
I told you.
As I've said before, it was morally reprehensible. The characters do horrible things. There's no one to root for in it. It's just a bunch of bad people.
I'm going to spoil it for a second here, because no one gives a fuck about Frat Star.
No one cares about Frat Star. We watch it so you don't have
to. At one point, one of his challenges from his people, which he actually does, by the way, is to sneak into a girl's door room while she's sleeping and stick his dick in her. And he does that.
Yep.
And she wakes up and she's like, "What's going on?" And then she's like, gets into it. And then she
enjoys it?
And then they keep going. And then for some reason, her door's open and her friends see her and they're like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Close the door." And I'm like, "What? Wait, what?"
But she was asleep when he stuck his dick in her ass, which means it was rape. And there are no repercussions of this. And the movie acts like it's okay. And then when the guy doesn't get into the frat, we're supposed to feel bad for him? Oh, that movie is just disgusting.
It's pretty gross.
Disgusting. Don't watch it, Frat Star. I'd give it a fucking 0.5 out of 5. If Letterboxd let me give it a lower grade, I would. I rewatched The Guest after we talked about it on our film swap last week. I just had an urge to watch it, but you've already heard us talk about it. And again, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. And Dan Stevens, you can get lost in those piercing blue eyes, Jaren.
Oh yeah.
He is one of the coolest characters ever on film. I watched The Fate of the Furious. You've already done your review for that one.
Go check that out.
Yeah, check out his review. I'm not going to do a review because I never do reviews, but I'll just give you my thoughts. I thought it was all right, but I think I still don't think this should have been made, because Furious 7 was not only a great movie, but a great send-off for Paul Walker. The ending actually got me emotional, which I didn't ever expect a Fast and Furious movie to do. And then they just come out with this, and it's like, I don't know, I just didn't really feel like it was justified. It was fun. I enjoyed the movie. It was really, really fun. It was the action was well done. You know, you got to suspend your disbelief, but that's fine if the movie is fun. I just didn't think it needed to exist, and it's running out of steam. This whole spy thriller, style direction the movie's gone in is kind of getting tiresome after 4 movies, and I think at this point they have to either change it up or just stop, because it's getting tiresome. I'd still give it a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed watching it. Jason Statham and The Rock knew what kind of movie they were in, and they really, really hammed it up. They were a lot of fun. I watched... Alright, so should we both talk about this? We both watched Adam Sandler's new Netflix movie because we're masochists. And it's Sandy Wexler and...
Wandy Sexler.
It's not good. Wandy Sexler.
We watched it with a mate, and we're all in we all organised a group chat where we watched it at the exact same time so we could mess each other and take the piss out of it while we were watching it. And it was goddamn awful.
Very bad.
The first thing is it's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. That's
ridiculous.
So that's like an hour longer than any Adam Sandler movie has the right to be. And it's just fucking... He talks in like his little Nicky voice. It's not as hammed up, but he has like a little Nicky voice. And one of the main running joke is that he goes like that, and I'm just like, fuck, it was annoying.
You hear that laugh about 50 times in the film. He falls over a lot, because that's the pinnacle.
Yeah,
of
all the
comedy.
time. And he'll just like walk into a house and then like just walk into the side table and fall over and get straight back up and be like, "Oh, sorry." Like, fuck.
And he always puts himself with women who are like 15 years younger than him and way out of his league. Like, that Sandler money must be powerful.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, talk about morally irrehensible. Starring in an Adam Sandler movie as his. I mean, he's already got
like
Sofia Vergara. He's like, where can you go from there?
It's like set in the
really?
90s, and he plays this like Hollywood agent or something, and a music agent or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, is Sandler trying to make it some retrospective over his career or some shit about all the relationships he's had and stuff? And the movie tries to be emotional and stuff, but it's this type of different sort of movie, still full with all the Adam Sandlerisms that you're used to. You know, ridiculous characters. Terry Crews plays a wrestler whose theme is like a good night baby, rockabye baby or some shit. I don't know.
Some fucking thing like that.
It's just all the dumb Adam Sandler, all his mates, and it tries to be emotional, and it was just one of the few funny moments of the film when he did try to be emotional. And then he starts singing at the end, and that was just the last straw for me.
Yeah. It was awful.
So, yes. Sandy Wexler, do not watch it.
Yeah, it's literally horrible. And one more thing, Nick Swardson should kill himself.
Oh, dude, I'm
plays like Hot Rod in this film, and every
death, but he was fucking Nick Swardson, man.
Every like half an hour, it will just cut to Adam Sandler standing by Nick Swardson doing another, because he's like a stuntman doing another thing, and like it'll just be him. At one point, he gets lit on fire and then falls from the very top of the Hollywood sign all the way to the ground, and is fine. He's just like, just like, oh, Sandy, you little bugger. Why'd you set me up for that, mate? And I'm just like...
But it's like the joke is every time he tries to do a stunt, a bird flies into him.
Oh, yeah, the first time it's an eagle, the second time it's a bat. It flies into his face.
People falling down. It's hilarious. Like, okay, can we move on? I'm sick of this movie.
Yeah.
Last night I watched Wanted, a movie that I'd seen bits and pieces of but had never fully watched, and it was fucking fun. Yeah, I mean, I talked about having to suspend your disbelief with movies, and this movie is ridiculous and nonsensical, but I enjoyed the shit out of it because it was actually fun. You know, it's a fun journey about James McAvoy plays this sort of mild-mannered guy. He's got anxiety, and he turns out he's like related to this ancient order of assassins, and Angelina Jolie's there, and they recruit him and train. It's pretty typical, like, you know, normal guy is the chosen one, gets his training and shit like that movie. But, you know, it was fun. It's ridiculous, but that's kind of what made it fun. I mean, there's one part where he's trying to assassinate a dude, like he's driving alongside the target and he's shooting at him, but the guy's got bulletproof glass. So what McAvoy does is he manages to side flip the car over the other guy's car and then looks down on him and shoots him through the sunroof, and he's like, I'm sorry, and then flips around to the other side of the road. And that's not even the most unbelievable thing in the movie, but if the movie's fun, it works, and I really enjoyed Wanted. And then finally this morning I watched another Netflix movie called Slam. It's a Italian movie based on an English book, I believe, by Nick Hornby. And Jaren, you watched this too. And it's alright. It's kind of well shot. It has a different look than most Netflix movies do. The first half hour was genuinely good. It's about this teenager who's this 16-year-old dude, and he gets a girl pregnant. It's about him worrying about that and stuff. And it could have been a good movie if the main character wasn't a fucking dick.
He does something like that so the movie starts off and he's kind of an asshole, and then he does something he's dating. Can I just say what it is?
Sure. It's not too late in the film.
He's dating this girl, and he's having sex with her, and he's been dating her for like 2 months, and they really love each other. Like, she says she loves him, they say they love each other, and then at one point he just goes, oh, I'm getting bored of her, and I don't want to settle into a routine.
Ignores her for a month.
Yeah, and then he just doesn't, for a month, he stops talking to her, doesn't answer her phone calls, doesn't see her at all, and breaks her heart, and she walks away alone at night, because he told his mum to tell her that he wasn't home, and he just lies down and is like, thank God she's out of my life, she was getting boring. And she, it breaks her heart, and she's crying and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and the thing is, the movie never addresses why he does this.
It's just he's a teenager and he was getting bored. That's fine.
And then later on, we're supposed to feel sorry for this guy because it turns out she's pregnant, and so he has to help her through that and stuff. And the movie's like, we should feel bad for him and sympathize with him going through this. It's like, no, fuck this kid.
Both his parents are dicks too, and the only good character in the whole film was his girlfriend. Her parents were dicks.
His mum was alright.
No, his mum was it. No. No.
She was she was supportive.
Yeah, she also said, "You were the biggest mistake I ever made" to his face multiple times, so...
no, I'm pretty sure his dad said that.
Yeah, she said it first. They both say his dad's worse, way worse, don't get me wrong, but...
Yeah, his dad's a freak. But that's because they had the kid young too, they're in their early 30s. And that element of the film, I liked. It could have been... It is an interesting story, and the start was good. But the fact that this character is such a dick, and then I won't go into spoilers here, but the last 5 minutes, the ending, something that happens that... I just thought was completely morally wrong, and the movie, which would, it might have worked, but the thing is, the movie frames it to try and inspire me with it, and I'm like, yeah, no, you just lost me completely.
Yeah, alright, is that your diary display?
Yeah, I didn't have as much, so I went a little more in depth with each movie, but yeah, that's what I've been watching. And just, I will say, after we finish recording, I'm going to watch The Godfather for the first time, because it's going to be my
great film,
1000th film watched on Letterboxd, so it's about time I got around to it.
It's a cheat 1000, but it's a 1000.
We'll see how that goes, because I do sometimes find these mobster movies boring, like Goodfellas, but we'll see how it goes. I'm scared, but I'm excited.
Alright,
so Jaren, what's your diary display?
The first movie I watched of this week was actually the best one, and one of the best movies I've seen all year, and it's Clint Eastwood's Changeling. I went in this, expecting a fine film. It's got like 60-70% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm like, yeah, this will be fine, and it's got a good IMDb score. So I'm like, IMDb is actually generally a better thing for me. So if because it's fans of the movie, so I'm like, yeah, I might like it. And this blew me the fuck away. It was amazing. Don't look up the true story because you'll ruin it for yourself. Don't even IMDb it or anything. Just go into it blind. Changeling. All you need to know is it's about a woman. And it's set in the 1920s, and her husband left her when she got pregnant, and she's trying to raise this son all on her own. She's such a nice lady, played by Angelina Jolie in an amazing performance. And one day, she is... I can't talk about this movie too much without getting spoiled, but one day she goes to work, and she comes back, and her son is missing, and there is no sign of him being abducted. He's just gone. And the police kind of look into this, and... It really shows the underbelly of the police and how they can be dicks back then. And like back then, if you stepped up to the police and were like, "No, you are wrong," they would bury you. Like they were all really corrupt back then. And this journalist tries to help her out, and this pastor played by John Malkovich, really really good, tries to help her out.
He's a pastor.
Yeah. Michael Gunn,
lasagna, linguine, fettuccine, penne,
angel hair.
Hair.
One of my personal favourites, yeah. And Michelle, what's his name? Michael Kelly, who plays. He's in. He's really, really great. He was fantastic. And Jeffrey Donovan, who I think is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that's him. He's like Agent Coulson. He was really, really great too. That's all you need to know. Don't go into this looking it up or anything.
Wasn't Michael Kelly in Defendor?
Yeah, it was. He was really good too. He's a great actor.
Chronicle.
Yeah, he's a fantastic
Everest.
actor. He's in.
Underrated
I love him.
movie if you never saw Everest.
He's amazing in House of Cards. You need to watch that.
Cool.
Fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 4.5, and I really want to watch it again. It may even move up to a 5. I'm not sure, but I really recommend Changeling. It's the best thing I've watched all week and in a long time. I then watched The Fate of the Furious, and I've got a review up for that. You can go watch that. I really liked it. And then I watched Batman, the original 1989 Batman, and let me tell you...
That's coming up soon for me.
Yeah, this is one I haven't seen yet. I don't know why. I've seen Batman Returns and Batman and Robin. I don't know why I never saw this. But this movie's definitely more of a cultural landmark and phenomenon than it is a great movie. You mean, the action is so sloppy. All Batman does is punch really quick and kick, and that's it. He doesn't flip, he doesn't jump around, he just punches and kicks. And Keaton plays a good Batman. I mean, yeah, he is a good Batman. Even though he looks kind of goofy at the start, you get used to him. But here's Bruce.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Bruce Wayne is meant to be a sexy playboy. Keaton is like kind of overweight, and he's really awkward, and he's just like. He's not perfect for the role. I love Michael Keaton. He's one of my favourite actors working, but he's not perfect for the Bruce Wayne role. Jack Nicholson just looks like he's taken a pound of coke and then wandered on the set being himself. He's like not even... I mean, his Joker is pretty good. He's maybe the best performance in the movie, but he just kind of, just looks like he was really high and it was just running around.
Dude,
and
Jack Nicholson running around on cocaine is probably going to be the best performance in most movies.
Well, he was... You can tell that Tim Burton did not direct him. Like, no, Jack Nicholson was not taking direction of anyone ever, and not in this movie. He was doing his own thing. You could tell that Tim Burton had no control over Jack Nicholson at all. He was doing his own thing.
Him as the Joker is probably one of the most profitable film roles ever. The cunt's still making money.
Well, he asked, he took a pay cut and said, I want 10% of all earnings from this movie, and so his original earning was like $700,000, and since then he's made about $70 million. And it's the most profitable role of all time because he took that percent, and they were like, "Yeah,
absolute
right," because he knew it was going to be big. I watched Wendy Sexler. We've already talked about that. I watched another 2017 movie that was really bad called All Nighter, and it stars Emile Hirsch and J.K. Simmons. I downloaded it.
So I couldn't find it on
illegally.
Netflix or anything.
No, and it was very
Jared,
bad.
I'm ashamed. I would never do that.
Yeah, no, I know you wouldn't, man. I know you've got a strong moral high ground. I don't. It was really bad, It started there. J.K. Simmons' daughter and Emile Hirsch's ex-girlfriend are the same person, and they go looking for her because she goes missing, and it's about one night. And the thing is, it wasn't even that bad a movie, The plot's kind of strong, the characters are alright. It's just that it's a comedy, and it didn't make me laugh once. There's no scene, like, it tried to make you laugh all the time, and it always fell flat. It was not funny at all, which is kind of sad. You can tell this movie was just built around J.K. Simmons. Like, they were like, let's just write a J.K. Simmons character, and then write a plot around him, because they made him be like the badass kind of dad who talks really straight. Just his character in general.
It's J.K. Simmons. It can't be too bad.
Yeah, it's bad. I watched Wayne's World for the first time, and I really liked that. The last half an hour is generally hilarious, and that there's a cameo in it. From the T-1000 in Terminator. It's just Wayne's driving to his new show, and he gets pulled over the cops, and he's like, "Now what is it?" And the cop walks up to him, and he leans down, takes his helmet off, and he's like, "Have you seen this boy?" And it's Patrick. It's Robert Patrick, and he's like "Ah!" And he drives away, and Robert Patrick just starts running after him, and then it cuts out. It never comes back to that, but it's amazing. And the last half hour is generally hilarious. And these two characters are really, really great. But it's just, it's too much of a mishmash between laughs and unfunny, blatant Bill and Ted rip-off gags. Like, you can tell off Bill and Ted's success, like, 4 or 5 years before this, they were like, let's just make two guys who are, like, idiots and play guitar and, except this time they don't time travel. Yeah, that's a great idea. But, no, it was pretty good. I watched...
Two guys who are idiots is a tried and true genre in comedy.
Oh, of course it is.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, I watched Slam, like you said. We've already talked about that. It's not good at all. I gave that a 2. And then today I watched Casablanca for the first time, and I really loved it. The sense of place and time in this film is absolutely perfect. You can tell just by everything without them having to say it where it is. The black and white is actually really stunning and really vibrant, better than lots of movies that are in colour. Actually, it works really well, like the use of shadows and stuff, because they knew they were shooting in black and white. The use of shadows and just the colour palette was really nice. The acting is fantastic. The musical score is really, really great. I got a little bit bored sometimes with the plot, generally towards the middle, but the start and end was really great, and the last act is perfect filmmaking. It's amazing.
Yeah,
here's looking at you,
kid.
kid.
It won me over.
The problems of 3 people don't amount to a hill of beans in this world. Now, here's looking at you, kid. It was really amazing. I loved it. So that is my diary display, and I will not be watching Godfather tonight. So yeah, I'll just add that in.
Looking at you, kid. Remember that American Dad episode where old mate was like looking for the gold, and he was trying to make his reaction, and he's like, "Here's looking at you, gold."
Yeah, that's just a
dickhead.
fucking amazing show.
I like that shit, dude. Fuck you. I like Seth MacFarlane. Except Million Ways to Die in the West.
Why are you saying fuck me? I love Seth MacFarlane.
No, I'm saying fuck you to the audience, because it seems
fair.
like most people hate
Ted
the guy.
1 and 2 are hilarious and good movies. I don't care what anyone says.
Ted 2 is just as good as the first one. I don't care what anyone says.
Alright,
Boycott Rotten Tomatoes, Jaron. They
Hey,
gave BVS a bad score.
Hey, boycott them. Fuck them. They just don't understand the layers and all the Jesus
To quote Ryan
metaphors.
Gosling in La La Land, fuck
'em.
'em.
Alright, we've got some
Alright.
movie news for you today. Not as much as recent weeks, but it's kind of in there. We've got, first of all, Jacob, The Fate of the Furious breaks the all-time opening weekend record from Star Wars The Force Awakens. The all-time opening weekend record.
I cannot believe this shit.
It made about 540 million
530
opening, and Star Wars opened at
Like-
520, which was the biggest, and this broke it.
I've been on the record as saying that this was going to make nowhere near Fast 7, and that Fast 7 was just because Paul Walker died. And I guess I can eat my words here, because holy shit.
That is amazing. Like, that is...
That's big. I mean,
But,
that's
Fast
it's kind of disheartening, though, because it means they're never going to fucking stop making them.
I enjoy them. I don't mind if they don't stop. But Furious 7, it got some real good reception, so it's kind of like everyone just came back and told their
Furious
mates
7
and brought
was
their mates
great.
back. So,
like, the last 3
I
were
really
great,
enjoy this one
but
too.
8 was a big step down, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't agree.
But everyone's going to see it. But this just means,
it's
dude,
just
if they keep
nuts.
making this kind of money, we're going to get fucking 20 more of them.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Vin Diesel said he's already has planned for like another trilogy. So, but yeah,
Why don't they just stop at 10? It's a nice even number. Make it good. Stop at 10.
It's amazing.
And then
I don't see how they can get any
with
more
that.
emotional than number 7 though. But
Oh no,
yeah, they'll probably have to
can't.
kill Dom or something.
They tried to with this one.
Even then, I'll be like, eh. But no, it's just, I mean, yeah, it's just inflating Vin Diesel's ego even more. I mean, he already thinks he's a guy who can walk into a party and have a 10-way with all the girls there, and now he's just, what's going to stop him?
I think I think Triple X, you kind of think, he's making fun of it, but I kind of think his ego really is that big. I read somewhere that he has a clause that he can't lose a fight on screen.
I 100% think that Vin Diesel.
I don't think we've seen him lose one, so maybe that is true.
Yeah, no, neither have I. I think he beat The Rock. How? What? He beat The Rock up in number 5.
Apparently, he and The Rock really didn't get along on set.
Oh yeah, there's lots of feuds.
Vin's a bit of a diva.
Yeah. But no, apparently
I'm the
that
shit.
Like Triple X is how Vin Diesel sees himself. He sees himself as this mad ass who everyone loves and skateboarding, and like that's how he sees himself, which is pretty funny.
He's turned Dom Toretto from like this street racer to a fucking superhero.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first one, and Dom is just he's just this really cool street racer who everyone kind of knows, and yeah, he's just a guy, and he's like, I love how like there's actual FBI agents and operatives and shit, but nah, we'll just get these guys who know how to drive cars really good to stop this plot to destroy the world.
What fucking asset is Roman to the team? He's useless. He has that like one badass moment in the final fight, but like he was alright in the previous ones, but I don't think he was very funny in 8. Like, he's just kind of rehashing the same joke. Oh, he's scared in the dangerous situations. Oh, he's very silly.
Who else is going to say, "Oh, are we gonna jump out of this thing?" when they've had numerous weeks of planning a very intensive helicopter jump, and right before they're about to do it, whoa, are we in a helicopter? Are we gonna jump out? I can't do that. Like, you've been planning this for weeks, you retard. Obviously, like how does he not know?
Scared in big situations, acts like a tough guy, tries to get girls, thinks he's a ladies' man.
Yeah, and
that's like every joke around his character. It's like, okay, settle down.
Yeah, all right.
I guess that's enough Fast and Furious for the next 2 weeks.
Speaking of Star Wars, Jacob, one of our classic segues. Nice. Star Wars Episode 9 has a teaser trailer. I mean, this has been talked to death by everyone, so we're just going to go really light on it. What do you think?
I mean, I don't really have any thoughts on it. It was good. It was a trailer. We saw things that we already know were coming. It's a teaser, like the Force Awakens teaser. But, I'm not going to go and complain that I didn't see enough from it, because the fact that we didn't see enough from it is a good thing. It just means that I don't really have a lot to say at this point, because everything we saw in the trailer, it's stuff that we pretty much already knew that was coming. It looks cool visually. I love the shot of the ships, were they TIE fighters, like with all the red dust coming out of them and shit. Yeah, that was awesome. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we're not the biggest Star Wars nerds, but we do love these movies. They're really good.
We're not going to come out here and we're not going to see that trailer and be like, Snoke is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and here's why.
It's the best movie of all. It's the best trailer ever made. But I really enjoyed it.
I didn't cry during the trailer, like I'm sure a lot of people did.
I did enjoy it, but again, you can't expect much. It's not even technically official trailer 1. It's just a teaser they made.
Yeah. I like that Finn has to recover from his injury. He's not just going to get right back up.
He's unconscious in like a hospital pod or something. Yeah,
looks like he's not in a med bed or something.
He's not going to get back up. Oh, that tickled. Let's get back out there. He's like, he's really hurt.
Luke is now a sad boy. He's a bit depressed. He's grown cynical in his old age.
Of course he'd be depressed. I mean, if I've been through what that guy's been, I'd fucking
see that explored. But
poor guy.
Yes, that's pretty much all I've got to say. I don't even know if I need to watch any more trailers for this, because it's Rian Johnson. He's gonna make a good movie.
Oh yeah, goddamn. If you don't know, obviously he's made things like Looper and that, but my biggest thing is Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. He directed one of the more divisive episodes, but one of my favorites, The Fly. He
directed lots. I love The Fly, yeah.
Oh, same. Like the whole episode with Walt and Jesse just trying to catch a fucking fly in their lab. I love that episode.
It's actually really smart too, the way they... Anyway, this is not a Breaking Bad post. Actually, maybe this should be a Breaking Bad post. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure he also directed Ozymandias, which is one of the best episodes.
It's the best one, yeah. Jacob... Jude Law has been cast as young Dumbledore in Two Fantastic Two Beasts. What do you think of that?
I really couldn't give a shit, so I'm going to let you talk about this one, because I really don't fucking care at all.
But you like Fantastic Beasts?
Oh, I liked it. I don't care.
You're not anticipating the next one?
I'll go see it. But the fact that I'm just fucking mad that we're probably not gonna get to see Newton stuff again, because I like those guys. I don't give a shit about young Dumbledore. I'm sorry, I'm not a Harry Potter guy. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, what do you think about Jude Law playing young Dumbledore?
I think he's too playboy for young Dumbledore. I think he's too pretty boy. He's obviously, as you know, gay lovers with Grindelwald, who everyone now knows is played by Johnny Depp. So, I don't really care. I just want another movie with Newt, but he's not going to be in it, like we've reported on already.
I loved Newt. I loved Kowalski. I loved what's her name, Queenie.
Kowalski was never going to be back
kind
in.
of boring.
He got his memory wiped, but
oh yeah, no, Kowalski had a good his arc was wrapped up well. But I would have loved to see more of Newt and Tina.
Yeah,
you know, like fucking come on.
I think Tina might still be in it. I don't think Newt will.
The reason that movie worked for me was because I liked the characters and cared about them. And I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I like the movies. I don't fucking care.
We know where Newt's going anyway, because in Harry Potter 3 is in the prison.
Yeah.
It would be great to see more of
him.
him. Yeah, so...
Or was that a different Scamander?
No, it was Newt. Alright. So, yeah, well, because he breaks, like, hundreds of rules, so it's fitting he goes to jail. Yeah, so overall, we don't really care, and we want more Newt. And
why do we even put this in the news today?
Because I wanted to express my love for Newt Scamander, Jacob. All right, and
I too.
Next, it's one of the best characters where Eddie Redmayne just talks like this under his breath, and
I create life, and I do, and I destroy it.
And our last bit of news is, it's not official, so don't run with it, but a Man of Uncle sequel is being written at the moment by Guy Ritchie. Or by the director of the writer producer, of the original Man from Uncle. Yeah,
Armie Hammer said something. I mean, people are taking this out of proportion. Sites are being like, Man from Uncle sequel in development. No, Armie Hammer just said that he asked the producer if they're doing one, and the producer said, you know what, fuck it, maybe I'll write one. And so he might be writing one. It's not been greenlit. They haven't been given funding. But Hammer and the guys behind it want to do it.
I'm going to go on record.
Because I loved the first one.
I'm going to go on record and say it won't get made. It lost the studio $25 million. It's not going to get... And sequels notoriously don't make as much as the original, especially when they're not that well received. Because it wasn't even that well received. It got like 60%. Like, critics were really divisive on it.
Though.
And I loved it.
I'm like, this is some of the most fun I've had in a movie theater. Like, that whole final climactic scene where they're on the motorbikes and shit, the chase, and the music's like... And I'm like, yeah, this is so much fun.
What was it like again?
It was awesome. Do you want me to do the sound again?
Yeah, what was the music again? Fuck, that's good. Why isn't that our new intro? Shit.
Yeah, but, just that clip from the same guy who did that music did the score for Steve Jobs, I think.
Nice,
which is interesting.
Yeah, right.
No, seriously, The Man from Uncle is so much fun, and I would love to see a sequel the way they set it up again. It was some of the best I've ever seen Armie Hammer do, the best acting. Cavill was great, and it's why I want Cavill to play James Bond, even though he won't because he's Superman. Alicia Vikander was great in it. They all had great chemistry, and it was so much fun.
How about Armie Hammer's accent too? He plays like a heavy Russian. Yeah, no, I didn't say I didn't. I'd say it wasn't that bad. But yeah, so, like he started talking, I'm like, oh shit, all right.
How does it feel to be held on a very long leash by a very short man?
Yeah, no, it's well, he's like 6'4". Everyone's short to that guy.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the movie news for this week. Not much. Again, if there's some movie news that comes out in the next couple of days, we didn't report on it because we did this a bit early. Because Jacob's going away, he's leaving us. So, but he'll be back for next week. So the next week one won't be delayed either. So don't worry. But
no
and for all the 7 people who really enjoy this podcast, don't worry. Next we have our weekly segment Film Swap. If you're new here, every week we give each other a film that we've been begging the other one to watch for a while, and we watch it and then review it. Jacob, you went first last week.
Alright, so I gave Jaren a movie that I myself only watched for the first time a couple months ago, but you know, I thought it was damn good. It's Lars and the Real Girl. Ryan Gosling. The thicker the mustache, the better the performance.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say no. I can't think of an example, but I'm just going to lay that right on there.
I don't know. I mean,
in Blue Valentine.
Oh,
Blue Valentine.
Actually, I'd say Drive might be my favourite performance of his, and he had no mustache.
Isn't he like clean shaven there? Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I think his best is Blue Valentine. Anyway,
just wanted to say something about his fantastic mustache in this movie.
Yeah, you got it. Jacob, sometimes, mate, You find love where you'd least expect it. Just ask Lars. No, so Lars is a guy, and, you know, he's a bit of a loser, you know, he doesn't really talk to anyone, he's kind of really withdrawn. He lives in the shed of his brother and his brother's wife, and his workmate shows him a website where you can buy your own doll girlfriend, and he goes, you know what? I want a doll girl. And he comes over, he goes up to his brother one night and he's like, guys, I got a girl over, you know, she's foreign, she just came. And they're like, oh, bring her in. And he wheels in a doll named, what's the doll's name?
I don't remember her name.
Bianca. He wheels in a doll named Bianca, and he treats her like a real person. Like, they think he's mentally ill because he talks to her, he listens to her, he thinks she's replying to him.
Let's face it, he probably is mentally ill.
Oh, I agree. He's definitely, I mean, you have to be. He's very mentally ill, and he, like, and then the whole town ends up, because everyone just loves Lars, the whole town just starts going along with it, instead of making fun of him, which is something I really appreciated. They started going along with him and helping him out and being like, yeah, this is a real girl, yeah, and talk to her and hairdresser and stuff. And, you know, it's actually, I mean, it's a silly concept, but it's actually a really good look on grief and love and mental illness, and, you know, how not, you know, regular love isn't for everyone. Sometimes you just need a sex doll that you never have sex with. The
movie doesn't pretend what Lars is doing is normal, but it doesn't make fun of him either, and it's great. Like, it's you wouldn't think in anyone else's hands it would have been like, huh, look at this fucking Joker, you know, making out with a doll and stuff. But like, the movie is like, everybody in the town rallies around him to try and, you know, help him move past this, which it really surprised me about it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's fantastic. Paul Schneider's in it. I really love Paul Schneider. He's a good comedic character actor.
Mark Brendanawicz
he's not bad.
From Parks and Rec.
Perks and Rec.
Perks and Rec.
Being a wallflower.
The perks of being
Ryan Gosling gives a powerhouse performance. He's so damn good. Was he Oscar nominated for this or just Golden Globe?
I think Golden Globe.
He was Golden Globe nominated. Yeah.
His only nomination was La La Land and Half Nelson.
Yeah. This was one of the. He was Golden Globe nominated. This is one of the one of those rules where the Oscars goes, you know what? This is a really weird script, and we don't know what to do with this movie, so we'll just chuck it in the best original screenplay with The Lobster and that. So it got a best original screenplay nomination, which I really agree with. It's fantastic, and I really love this one. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was really terrific, and I didn't expect it to get me in the feels, Jacob, but it did.
Yeah, it's great that the sexy man hunk Ryan Gosling can also play this type of
I was about to say how
introverted, awkward character.
How funny is it that he goes from a guy who was cast as a man who is so withdrawn that he like fucks a doll to the guy who gets typecast as that sexy guy. So
I don't think he fucks the doll.
That sexy guy from the start. No,
I don't think he fucks the doll.
He
he's scared to kiss her. Relationship.
Yeah, no, he's scared to kiss her. But I'm saying that he has a doll, and now he's I'm gonna fuck that sexy guy from the bar. An actual quote from Crazy Stupid Love. But
both great movies, though.
Both great movies. You're not wrong. Both fantastic movies. Jacob, Schwanz. He doesn't say Schwanz in it, so it lost a star. So. But, and this week I gave one to Jacob that I watched last year, and it ended up being almost in my, or may have been in my top 10 first watches of last year. I absolutely loved it. And it is the 90s comedy, and you know how this goes. Last week I gave him, I didn't give him.
You didn't give it to me for a swab.
I was like, I wasn't that confident. I was like, you know what, if you want one, you can watch Sleepless in Seattle, and he watched that and didn't like it.
Seattle.
Yeah, Sleepless in Seattle. And I was like, you know what? I'm confident in this movie, and I'm going to redeem myself. I'm going to give you Jerry Maguire. Jacob?
Yeah, Mary Jaguire is Cameron Crowe's movie. I think the first movie I've ever seen from Cameron Crowe, or Cameron Crowe, if I was going to reverse the letters around.
Cameron Crowe, good in BoJack Horseman. You should watch it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've seen it. Actually, he directed We Bought a Zoo. I've seen that, and that's it. Matt Damon, you can tell he's really trying. But no, Jerry Maguire, I mean, yeah, last time he gave me a 90s rom-com with a Tom in the lead role, it didn't go too well. But I enjoyed the shit out of this. And this is an example that cheesiness works if you do it right. Because yes, it's cheesy. That climactic scene is cheesy, but it worked. And I'm like, yes, I buy this. You know, he got me in the feels a little, like, just You had me at hello. I mean, remember a few weeks ago, Jaren gave that to me in the quote game, and I didn't even know it.
Me.
And like, it's amazing what having a likable female character does for your rom-com, Jaren. It's all you need to do, and it works. I mean, Tom Cruise is kind of a dick at times in this, but you know, it's set up that he's a guy who has like troubles with intimacy and stuff. But you know, him and who's the girl? Renee Zellweger. Renee Zellweger was really, really good. Now, I don't think I've really seen her in anything else, but I really, really enjoyed her in it. And her, the scene when they're in the kitchen and she's talking to her sister and she's like, "I love him. I think I love him. I love him." And then she realizes that he's been fucking in the hallway listening the whole time. And just when he comes in, she's just standing there with her back turned. And I'm like, well, God doggone it if that isn't one of the cutest things I've ever seen. And all the other side plots were great in this too. Cruz's relationship with her son, big Jonathan Lipnicki, was pretty cool. That kid was awesome. And I laughed so hard when, you know, I mean, not spoiler, but they're getting married and the kid's like the ring bearer, and he keeps holding the fucking ring tray up too early, and they're like, no, put it down. And he just fucking holds it up above his head.
Did you know the human head weighs 10
pastor
pounds?
Says something. Yeah. Did you know my neighbor had 3 pet rabbits?
Renee Zellweger is also really good in Cinderella Man, which you have to watch.
Yeah, I started that a few weeks ago. I still haven't gotten around to finishing it.
Fell asleep. Fucking loser.
Yeah, I did fall asleep. Not because of the movie. I was just tired that particular day. And Cuba Gooding Jr., who won a goddamn Oscar for this, as Rod Tidwell, one of the football players he's representing, he kind of becomes Jerry's only friend after his career and life kind of fall apart. And that's what, you know... That's why I like the story, because the movie starts with Jerry having this moral epiphany, like, you know, let's take less clients, less money, and have better personal relationships with them and stuff. And normally that type of, I'm going to be a good guy, I see the light now epiphany would come at the end of one of these movies. Yeah. So it was cool that they started the movie with it, because it's like, yeah, the whole movie's about this guy who's probably been a bit of a snake in the past, trying to, you know, grow a conscience, as he says in the movie. And I really, really liked it. Cuba Gooding was great. He's still one of the best Oscar speeches you've ever seen. And he kind of acts like his character in the movie. Like, even at the end of the movie, when he learns he's got a contract, he's like, "I love you all. I love you, my wife. I love you." And that's kind of what he did in his Oscar speech too. Yeah. I love you. And yeah, he was really good. And Tom Cruise, like, as much as he's just penciled as this, the action star, he likes to run a lot. The dude's a talented fucking actor. He was really, really good.
A Few Good Men, Jerry Maguire, Risky Business. He's a great dramatic actor.
I mean, he was nominated for Best Actor for this, so
yeah, he was. It was nominated for picture and screenplay too, and editing.
Actor, you know, sure, he's a Scientologist, but I'll forgive all that. But if you're a fast runner,
if you can run really, really fast, then you know you're forgiven.
Yeah, so I'm glad you gave me Jerry Maguire for the film slot, because I probably would not have watched it if you hadn't given it to me.
Glad you did.
So yeah, this is a pretty successful week, if I say so myself. And now we're going to move on to our last segment of the day. We may even make it under an hour for once. I don't know.
I highly doubt it, but we'll go well again.
But since The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was in the news, we're going to count down our top 5 favourite spy movies. Now, I'm just going to say right off the bat, I'm not a huge fan of spy movies, so my list is going to be pretty sparse. It's going to skew very modern. I haven't seen a lot of the classics. I haven't seen any of the old Bond movies, so I'm just getting that right off the bat. I'm not a big spy movie guy. But Jaren, do you want to start?
Yeah, neither am I. I'm not that well versed in spy movies, but I do enjoy a few, every now and then. So I have a couple honorable mentions. I have Spy, Paul Feig's Spy, which is actually a really funny takedown on the genre.
2015 was like most of them.
It was the best for spy movies that year. You had Spy, Man from U.N.C.L.E., a bunch of other ones. It was really great. Yeah, Spy was really great. It's a takedown of the genre. Jason Statham's best role, in my opinion. He was absolutely electric in this movie. He was so damn good. I have The Bourne Supremacy, the second Jason Bourne movie. Really, really enjoy it. I have Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, also came out in 2015. Really great Mission Impossible film. Really fun. Great villain. And then I have The Man from U.N.C.L.E. as my last honorable mention. Really love that film. Couldn't just squeeze it in, because my number 5 is another 2015 one, Bridge of Spies. 2015, just such a good one. Yeah, Bridge of Spies isn't your... So,
it's not a spy movie in the traditional sense.
Well, it is, actually.
There's spying involved.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I mean, traditionally, spy movies weren't action films. They were about Soviets and war spies and stuff. They've just kind of skewed like that in recent years. Now, you think of spy movie and you just think of action, cars, gadgets, but, this is literally about a Soviet spy trying to, infiltrate America, and, the Americans captured him, and Tom Hanks is, like you said, it's not traditional because it's actually about Tom Hanks trying to free this spy, trying to come up with a deal, but it's really, really great, and I still maintain... the Oscar should not have been won in Best Supporting Actor. That was kind of bullshit. Fuck you, Maguire. He was really good in it.
Should have been Tom Hardy.
Should have been Tom Hardy. But, or Sylvester Sly. But, no, I really, really enjoy it, and it gets me emotionally. Tom Hanks is so damn good. It's Steven Spielberg. When we heard Steven Spielberg was creating a war drama with Tom Hanks, we were like, oh shit. And it didn't disappoint. It was really, really great, and I really enjoy it. Jacob, you want to chuck me your number?
Oh, yeah.
5?
All right. Honourable mentions, real quick. The Bourne Supremacy. The Bourne movies tend to get better as they go along. And Mission Impossible 4 and 5 didn't quite make my cut. They're both for me honourable mentions. Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol, both great spy movies. Both a bit. You can never go wrong with a bit of the old Tom Cruise.
Thomas.
And they're so good. And it's another franchise that seems to be getting better as it goes along. Because I slightly prefer 5. I know you think that's blasphemy, but it
is.
They're both great movies. Alright, my number 5 is honestly I don't know how to put these in order, so my 3 to 5, I wouldn't take too much note of the order because I don't really know how to differentiate them, but my number 5 is Casino Royale, much to the dismay of Jaren.
Hey, it's number 5, I'll take it.
You'll take it. And I know Jaren's going to want to go in depth with this one, so I won't say much, but it has the best action set pieces of any Bond film. I've only seen the Craig ones, that's what I'll say, and it's easily the best of the Craig ones, and it's the only Craig Bond film that I would ever watch again. Mads Mikkelsen was a great villain, Daniel Craig was very great, and Eva Green, my man, woo!
Oh yeah, she was fantastic. She didn't look too bad either, not too shabby.
And great performance too.
Oh yeah, terrific performance.
Her character and performance has kind of echoed through the entire franchise, and that's why Bond is a depressed alcoholic now.
So I'll never forgive her for that, but actually I will. Anyway, my number 4. Yeah, my number 4 is The Bourne Ultimatum.
Nice.
I absolutely love this. It's the best Bourne film, in my opinion. It's absolutely fantastic. It's the third in the original trilogy. And, the first one is kind of a mystery. He's kind of wandering around, wondering who he is. The second one is a revenge drama, getting back at the people. And the third one is a straight-out action movie where Bourne just lets go and goes nuts and takes down the entire syndicate. And it's amazing. Matt Damon... we've talked about it before. No one expected him to be an action star. He came out and kicked so much ass. Paddy Considine is in this, is really good. I love that scene where he kind of narrates him through the train station, left, like stuff like that. Daniel Bruhl's in this for a little while. Julia Stiles is really great again, reprising her role as Nikki Parsons. And I enjoyed the hell out of this, and this one blew me away.
How bad was she in the new one?
Oh yeah, let's not talk about that. But this original trilogy gets better for me every movie. I really, I enjoy Identity. I think the second one's really great, and I think Ultimatum is the best. Yeah, I said original trilogy, mate. And I enjoy the hell out of this. I think it's a fantastic film. Remember everything, forget nothing. It's the tagline, and it's what else can you say? Everyone knows Bourne, and this is the best Bourne. Jacob, your number 4.
My number 4 is 2015 is going to have a whopper of a showing year today, and it's The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is my number 4. As we talked about it before, I loved it. It's so underrated. It's so much fucking fun, and I pretty much said everything that I could say about it earlier on. Once again, I'm a big Guy Ritchie fan, and before seeing this, I'm like, this looks like crap. What is this shit? What's he doing? Go back to making British caper movies. But no, this technically is a British caper movie.
Yeah,
that Lock, Stock type of shit, where everything just goes wrong.
It's American,
the movie
though,
Lock, Stock and Two Smoking... Oh, actually, yeah, well, it's a bit of both, really. It's international.
Henry Cavill's American.
Alicia Vikander's, German, I think, in it.
Yeah.
He's Russian, Cavill's American, yeah. Yeah, they got an American playing a Russian, a Brit playing an American, Swede playing a German. But yeah, like his earlier movie, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, which is one of my favorites. That movie is just a giant series of fuck-ups, and this movie has some of that, but no, it's a movie about sexy people being sexy and being badasses. I love the scene where they're like escaping that facility and they're getting chased in a boat, and Cavill falls out of the boat, climbs to shore, and gets in a truck, and Armie Hammer's still riding around in the boat getting chased by and shot at by everyone, and Cavill's just in the truck, like, and he finds like a bottle of wine and a sandwich in there.
He starts eating
there's
it.
like music on the radio, and he just starts chilling out eating his sandwich, and you can see in the background Hammer's getting blown up and shit, and he's like, oh fine, I guess I'll go save him. But no, it was really funny. It didn't take itself too seriously, and I really, really hope that sequel gets made.
Alright, my number 3, Jacob. Manners maketh man. Kingsman: The Secret Service is another 2015 movie. God, it was such a great year. We're going to say that 700 times. But no, this was the introduction.
My number 3 is also a 2015 movie.
Taron Egerton, yeah, I know it's going to be. Taron Egerton, you know, comes out of nowhere as this. How good was he in this, man? He plays Eggsy, who's kind of, you know, he's a misfit Brit. And all of a sudden, whose dad died in the service of this secret spy agency, who his mum and him have no detail about it. All they have left is a little coin. And when Taron Egerton gets in trouble, he calls the number on the coin, and they come and rescue him. And Colin Firth takes him under his wing. And Colin Firth, who plays Harry Hart or Galahad, takes him under his wing and chooses him as his kind of, it's really great timing that it happened, but chooses him as his kind of little mentee to take part in a series of challenges to try and be the next Kingsman, because they recently lost someone in battle. Sam Jackson plays a villain with a lisp. If that doesn't sell you, I don't know what will. Michael Caine, Mark Strong, Mark Hamill is in this. Like, it's such a cool cast.
Yes.
I really like it.
You made me kill Professor Arnold. I goddamn love Professor Arnold.
You know, all the agents are they talk about the suit of the modern gentleman, the armor of a modern gentleman is a suit. They're all so goddamn suave. They all know their whiskey. They have a whiskey for every occasion. I want you to be. You have to stir it while glancing at an unopened bottle of vermouth. Like, it's so ridiculously classy. It's amazing. These gadgets are so cool. I really love them. I love this whole world they set up, and I can't wait for the sequel that's coming out this year. The first sequel that Matthew Vaughn is ever going to direct. Which is really exciting.
Maybe if he had done Kick-Ass 2,
I was about to say he should have done Kick-Ass 2.
We might be getting a third one.
But
Fuck
no,
you,
that'll
Jeff
never happen
Wadlow.
now. But yeah. No, that's Kingsman: The Secret Service for you. Jacob, what's your number?
My number 3 is a 2015 spy movie, one of many. What do you think it is?
Bridge of Spies.
Yeah, that's correct. But I believe it before the show you guessed that it would be in my top 2, and you're wrong.
I did. Might be.
So, fuck you.
Yeah,
Bridge of Spies is, you've already talked about it. It's a movie about Tom Hanks, and he is a bridge, and Mark Rylance plays a spy, and the two fall in love, and it's a big will they, won't they romance. They meet on top of the Empire State Building, and, Bill Pullman's there, he gets shafted, yeah, I don't know. I've got nothing else to say. You already talked about it. It's a great... Like, Spielberg can still knock it out of the park with these dramas. He's a master of the camera. He got a great performance out of Tom Hanks, who really... He's been unlucky to miss out on some Oscar nominations in the last few years. Captain Phillips snub still fucking stings. But Mark Rylance was truly fantastic, and it's a slow-paced, very, very, a dialogue-driven movie, and it was so riveting. Two characters speaking is more entertaining than a lot of action scenes you've seen in films of recent years, and it's a very, very darn good. This is a wholesome podcast. I won't say filthy words like damn. So, Jaron, what's your number 2? I know what your 1 and 2 are. But
I'm going to agree with you and say Bridge of Spies is pretty damn darn good, Jacob.
Gosh darn it.
You know my number 2, do you know them in order?
yeah, number 2 is going to be Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
You're right. My number 2 is the best Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. These are the 2 movies that are in my top 50 of all time. I love the shit out of this movie. I watched this and it blew me away. I've probably seen it about 8 times now. It's so goddamn good. It's directed by Brad Bird, who has also done things like, the Ratatouille, The Incredibles, Tomorrowland, underrated.
The highly underrated Tomorrowland.
Yeah, and it's so goddamn good. From the first action scene, which is Tom Cruise in jail for an unknown reason, and he's kind of like throwing a rock against 3 walls, and it bounces back to him, and he gets broken out, and he gets broken out, and Simon Pegg, who's the hacker, kind of opens all the doors for him to run out, and he's like, nope, I'm not going. I have to go back and get my mate. And Simon Pegg's like, no, you're not going back, and he just they can't hear each other, and Tom he just stands there and looks at the security camera with his arms folded and glares at him, and then like throws his fist like, I'll fucking get you, and he's like, all right, and he opens the door for him to run, and he goes and gets his German mate and like throws him, and he's running past.
How about
he's got his German mate's just running there all cowardly with his hands over his head while Tom Cruise is beating up everyone, and they're running through, and they finally get out. Yeah, what? How about what?
Oh, just how about when they're breaking into the Kremlin and they've got that big sort of invisible screen and Simon Pegg's giant face just pops up.
Yeah, and so after that they break out and they realise they have to go to the Kremlin to get these plans, and the whole Kremlin break-in is amazing, and they use this giant, like you said, screen that kind of reflects a person's image back at them so they can just see a hallway, and they kind of slide it through, and so it reflects what's behind them, and Simon Pegg puts his face in front of the camera and the whole hallway just turns into his face for a second. Tom Cruise like pushes him out the way, and then they realise that it was a double cross and the Kremlin blows up and they just narrowly escape. Tom Cruise gets sent to hospital, and I'm explaining the whole movie and I don't care. And then they realise that there's going to be a meet-up to exchange the plans that were stolen in the Kremlin at the tallest building in the world, and they go there in Dubai, and they go there, and as you know, Tom Cruise, they have to get past the last security firewall, so Tom Cruise
you're just reciting the whole plot.
He has to climb up the outside.
How many times have you watched this movie?
I just said probably like 8 to 10. And he has to climb up the outside of
No one needs to watch it now. You've just...
No, they don't.
Telling them the whole plot.
He needs to climb up the outside of the Dubai, the building in Dubai, and it's amazing. And obviously, he actually did it. He did do it, and it's really, really great. Obviously, he did it with wires. Like, he's not going to fucking... That technology doesn't even exist. And so he climbed up, and then he kind of swung back in, and it's really, really great. And then they go to a bowl, and Jeremy Renner has to drop into like this fire pit and just narrowly land, and this rover controlled by Simon Pegg drives him in. It's amazing. I love this movie so fucking much. It's endlessly rewatchable. It's goddamn amazing. It's so funny the whole way through. It's so entertaining. The team dynamic works way better than Tom Cruise by himself, which is why they changed it up and why they're still going with this team dynamic. Jeremy Renner came in to kind of be a replacement of Tom Cruise, but that didn't work out because Tom Cruise is still just so badass. So they're like, you know what? Let's just keep him in. And Simon Pegg is an amazing. He was in number 2 for like a second. He was in number 3 for like 15 minutes, and then they were like, let's just bring him in. Everyone's great in this. Ving Rhames comes back for a little bit towards the end. It gets me emotionally at the end when you find out something that I won't spoil, and I absolutely love this one. Jacob, you're number 4.
Oh, sorry, man. I fell asleep for a second there.
Yeah, fuck you.
I
love it.
I've seen the movie.
I love it.
I'm just like, yep, that happened. It
did. No word of a lie, mate. It did happen.
All right, what do you think my number 2 is going to be then, Jaren?
Fuck, I have no idea. Bourne Ultimatum?
The Bourne Ultimatum.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Green Paul Grass.
Wow.
Best Bourne movie. Yeah, I loved it. It's, as I said, it's like, they go up, like, 1-star rating for me, each one. Like, the first one was 3.5 stars, the next one was 4 stars.
That's exactly the same.
Solid 4.5. It's a damn good motion picture, and, it just surprised me because I wasn't that engaged with the franchise after the first 2, but this one just took it to another level, and I cared about his character. I cared about finding out who David Webb really was. His whole,
Mark Webb, director of Amazing Spider-Man.
Dynamic. His whole thing at the end with Albert Finney, who was like the big boss sort of man, and they did things, and the train thing
they did
at the start was great.
They did
things. See, I don't know the whole plot. I've actually only seen this once, but it was fucking great. The action scenes are incredibly done, and I'm sorry, I don't know the whole plot, so I can't recite the whole thing. But I will say that the Bourne Ultimatum is a damn fucking good spy movie.
It was kind of hard to follow me.
I would love to see I kind of just want Paul Greengrass to keep trying to see if he can make one as good as this again. Because
I agree.
Even in the new one, the action was great. It's just
I think it's underrated, but it is also not that good. So
I liked it. I mean,
Yeah,
I
same.
thought it was a decent movie, but it's not a piece of shit like some people have been saying. But yeah, so Jaren, tell us about Casino Royale.
My number one. Let me just put you in a little bit of suspense for a little dun 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 is Spy Kids 3D Game Over.
Spy Kids 4 was the top of the world.
Casino Royale is directed by Martin Campbell, who I believe did the original Casino Royale, and he also did Goldfinger, and he came back to do the quintessential James Bond movie. I don't even like the character that much. I'd never seen one before Casino Royale. Now I've seen all the Craig ones. I haven't seen any of the other ones yet. I need to go back to them.
Oh, Jaren.
But I love this movie.
Jaren. Before we get too stuck into this, I just had one more thing I wanted to say about Bourne. I'm so thankful that they had the courtesy to name them in alphabetical order. It just makes my collection of the DVDs so much easier.
I never even noticed that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's actually really nice of them. I did not even notice that. That makes me in a whole new level of OCD comfortable. I'm glad. All right. Anyway, I'll continue on before I was rudely interrupted. It's Daniel Craig is like this badass guy. He's got a lot of enthusiasm about his job. He gets his license to kill on the first one with a thrilling opening scene where he has to kill 3 people and drown one in a sink, and then he shoots the gun like regular. I'm talking really fast because I don't want this to drag on. Daniel Craig, he meets
just don't recite
Vesper,
the whole plot. Just tell us what you liked about it.
Vesper Lind with Eva Green. Yeah, I will. Vesper and James are one of the greatest movie couples of all time, in my opinion. They work so well together. They don't like each other at the start, but they recognize that they're like equals, like equally smart, cunning, etc. Mads Mikkelsen plays Le Chiffre. He is so goddamn good. He bleeds out of one eye. Like he's just a regular guy, but he has to have that one little Bond thing that makes him a Bond villain. He bleeds out of one of his eyes. I'll be nervous when I start weeping blood. And it's really a down-to-earth villain because you find out he's not this huge like gang boss like every other spy movie. He's actually just working for someone, and he wants the money from the casino so bad so he can pay off his debt, so he doesn't get killed.
Guy.
He's a desperate guy, yeah. Judi Dench plays M in she's been playing M for a really long time, and she was really great in this one. I think she's been like M 11 times or something. Jeffrey Wright comes in for a little bit. It's so goddamn good. Giancarlo Giannini is in this, who's actually in Slam that we just watched.
Is that?
She was in Slam that we just watched. I think she's the girl who... one other thing, James Bond, how he's about to fuck that girl, because usually he's just been a fuck machine, and then as soon as he gets the information he needs, he leaves her, and then he goes up to the phone and he's like, actually, we'll only need 1 for 1, and then he leaves. At the scene after he gets...
to Spectre, he fucks the widow of a guy he just killed.
To be fair, that was pretty fucking badass. But
I don't think he meets a woman he doesn't root in Spectre.
No, in any of the other ones. He gets beaten up a lot, and he actually goes, and there's a scene where it's just like a little bit of shaky cam, and just to show how shook up he is, and he's washing the blood off his face and out of his eyes, and he's really shook up, and his hair's a mess, his suit's been ripped, and he goes and he walks into the shower, and Vesper's sitting there in the shower just like of what's happened because she had to kill someone, and she was really shooken up, and she wasn't even naked. She was just sitting there in her dress, which is actually Craig's idea. She was originally going to be naked. I mean, I would have liked to seen that.
Fuck you, Daniel Craig.
This works narratively better because
it works better on a plot level.
The vulnerability of her sitting like that, and Daniel Craig works in there and just like holds her, and they don't even wake up in the same bed the next morning, Jacob. They wake up in different beds. He didn't even bed her, which is crazy. It's amazing. And then
he does later.
Well, yeah, you find, they go on honeymoon together after everything's solved. If you don't want to skip forward like a minute, because I'm about to spoil it if you haven't seen it, you should really, really watch it. It's fucking amazing. It's 5 out of 5. So Daniel Craig, they make up and he solves the whole plot. Yay, end of the movie. He solved the bad guy. He beat the bad guy. It's all done. He's holidaying with Eva Green. Happy ending. And then Eva Green fucking negs him, and it turns out she's been working for the other guy, but you know, she kind of does. She did fall in love with him, so it kind of hurts her what she's doing this. But all the money James has, she wires to the other guy as James finds out, and he follows her. And then she gets locked in an elevator while a building in Rome is collapsing, and he has to go down there. And he still loves her, even though he knows she's betrayed her. He still loves her, and he's trying to pull her out of the elevator as it's sinking. He can see her. It's like bars, and she's like, she wants him to, and you know, he's trying to open it, but he's not strong enough, and her dress is caught on the other side of the elevator, and she just drowns right in front of him. And he swims back up, and he's so fucked up, and he goes up, and he starts drinking some whiskey on a boat when Em calls him, and she's like, you can take some leave off before you come back in, James. And he's like, why do I need leave? The job's done, the bitch is dead. And it just hurts me. I cry every time I see it. I've seen it like 4 times, and I weep every time. It's really devastating towards me. No more spoilers. And then, you know, the very
no
end,
more spoilers. There's nothing left to spoil.
At the end, there's a guy like just walking up the stairs, and all you hear perfectly, by the way, perfect sound editing, pong, and this guy just like drops the floor, and he walks up, and he's like, oh, who are you? And he just sits there in this perfectly tailored suit with a big grin on his face, like he's just fucking having the time of his life shooting this cunt down. Bond, James Bond, like it's fucking.
And that shot marks the last time we ever saw James Bond smack.
Yeah, goddamn good. That's my rant of Casino Royale and why everyone should see it. Over, Jacob.
Well, I don't know how I can follow that up. Basically, all my top 3 are movies that you talked about earlier, so I don't really have anything to add.
Your number 1 is Kingsman.
My number 1's Kingsman: The Secret Service, and it's the closest I can say about really adoring a spy film. It's, I don't know, you've taken everything that I wanted to say about it. I mean, I loved it. The start when they're doing their training and all that shit kind of reminded me of the Hunger Games and stuff. But then once he actually becomes a Kingsman, you know, working with Mark Strong and stuff, it's the action's great. That church scene is one of the best action scenes of all time, killing everyone.
You know,
and just
cracks me out the fuck up every time.
The balls on Matthew Vaughn to do that scene at the risk of pissing off all the fundamentalists and shit. Yeah, just like murdering everybody. It was funny. It was badass, and it's like, as you're watching the scene, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
It's like 3 shots, and it goes for like 7 minutes.
Oh yeah, the long takes was pretty badass. I can't remember that quote that you were saying before, but yeah, I'm something about my gay black Jewish boyfriend who works in a military abortion clinic.
So hail Satan and have a lovely afternoon. What cracks me up every time is when they have to choose a dog during the trials, and it's like, oh, Eggsy, the runs of Root are going with the small dog. I appreciate that. And he's just
it's a bulldog in it.
It's a bulldog in it, and he looks to her, and she's like, no, it's a pug, and he's like, ah. Oh, well, it's got to get bigger, innit? And she's like, no, it's not. And he's like, oh, shit.
He's like doing that like training thing, and he like puts the dog in his jacket, and he's just running.
He like points the gun at the dog. You better fucking run, mate.
Yeah. Taron Egerton was great as Eggsy. It put him on the map. He was great in Eddie the Eagle. For a little while, we wanted him to be cast as Spider-Man because of it. Colin Firth was a badass. They loved him so much that they're bringing him back for the second one, even though they shouldn't be. But, you know, I guess they can make it work. And it gave us Sophia Boutella, who's a badass. She was... and a great spy movie henchman that you don't get too often. Like,
it was like
the
a
blade
James
legs,
Bond-esque
they
henchman,
fucking slice through motherfuckers. Yeah, that's like pure James Bond henchman style.
They make fun of... They reference James Bond so much. I'm not... Yeah, I've always wanted to be a villain. I was... the old Bond movies. Oh... Yeah, there was...
She was really good. And it turns out she can actually act as well. She was great in Star Trek Beyond as Jayla.
Give me a far-fetched
and in an action sense as well. You have to. Thank you for such a happy meal. 2 Big Macs with secret sauce.
2 cheeseburgers with secret sauce. I'll have the Big Mac. Good choice, but nothing beats 2 cheeseburgers with secret sauce.
Yeah, so many Bond, even down to the suit stuff. You know, suits have always been a staple of Bond movies and stuff like that. And this movie really goes into it and shows how important the suits are, not only on a fashion level, but on, you know, it's got all their gadgets and shit in it.
Yeah, you don't want fucking bros. If you wear brogues, you're a dickhead.
Oh yeah, Oxford's not
End
close,
of.
man.
End of.
And one of my favourite jokes in the film, one that offended a lot of people and pissed a lot of people off, but a great send-up of James Bond movies, because every fucking James Bond movie, well, most of the old cheesy classic ones end with like him like banging the girl and stuff like that, but you know, they tried to do it in a classy way. So this movie's just like, you know, there's the princess who's locked up, and instead of hiding it in a classy way, they just went blunt to make fun of what obviously happens at the end of every Bond movie. How he says to the princess, "We gotta go, I gotta go save the world," and she's like, "Oh no," he's like, "If I let you out of here, will you give me a kiss?" And she's like, "If you let me out of here, we can do more than kiss." And then he has to go save the world, and she's like, "If you save the world, we can do it in the asshole."
Yeah, I watched it the other day. He's like, "Well, if I let you out, will you give me a kiss?" And she's like, "I'll give you more than a kiss." And he's like, "Okay, I'll be back. I gotta go save the world." And she's like, "Oh, well, if you save the world, we can do it in the asshole."
He's like, "I'll be right back." And it was so unexpected. I remember watching it. Not many people in the theater laughed, and I was just losing my shit.
It wasn't even a throwaway joke. Like, literally right after he defeats the mad bad guy and the whole plot
he goes back there.
He runs back with a glass of wine. And then Mark Strong's like, look on the security cameras, and he opens the door, and he's like, "What are you doing, Eggsy?" And then it just appears on like her ass and him like leaning in. He's like, "Oh no, oh no."
So I'm really excited to see what they do with the next one. I really love this movie. It's not going to be in most people's classic spy movie list, but you know, I'm a simple guy, not a huge fan of the genre, and this was a lot of fun.
Goddamn right, I can't wait for the sequel. It's going to be terrific. Channing Tatum in it, man. Get keen.
This list was like, Jaren recites an entire plot, me, yeah, this movie was good.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's the opposite of what generally happens. But yeah, no, dude, Channing Tatum wearing a cowboy hat as an American spy is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, they should have cast John Roca as him.
Hey, that's fucking bullshit. All right, so that's the podcast for this week. You got anything else to add?
Holy shit. Just nothing to do with the podcast, but and for the AFL fans out there, Geelong are beating Hawthorn by like 86 points. That's hilarious.
That's amazing. Poor Blake.
Yes, so the Americans out there will be like, "Wait, what? Was he just speaking Chinese?"
Yeah,
there?
was that even English?
Yeah. So yeah, that's the show. Thank you for listening very much. I'm excited. I'm going to Melbourne for a few days. I'm going up for a football game, but I'm going to be able to see some movies there. For once, because nothing comes to my town, I'll finally be able to see some stuff like Personal Shopper, Colossal. We're both seeing Get Out on the same night in different cities.
I'll see all those too.
Because there's advanced screenings across the country. I'm not sure what I'll see.
Berlin Syndrome, so I'm keen for that.
But I'll probably wait till that comes out here. Yeah, Berlin Syndrome, France, Denial, their finest. There's a lot of shit coming out, so I'll try and see like 4 or 5 movies.
But I'll see it.
Yeah, but I will maybe I might try and film a couple reviews while I'm out there.
And Jacob,
so,
I just want to say, in 1 week and 2 hours, I'll be seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
You motherfucker! We get it a while before America does. So
yeah, we get it. We get it. Well, I'm getting it about 2 weeks before you guys. So sorry about that. So
really, our next podcast will be on Guardians.
Yeah, it will. Will you have seen it?
This will go
on Tuesday, eh?
Yeah. Wednesday.
We'll
this will go up. This will go up this Friday, obviously, as you're watching it, and we'll probably record the next one Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Get it up to you Thursday or Friday, and we'll be talking about Guardians.
So the next podcast, the Guardians of the Galaxy podcast. Get fucking keen, lads! Woo!
I love that we get the Marvel movies before everyone else. It's great.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening. We are Children of Film. I love film. Jaren loves children. Hope you have a lovely weekend.
And we'll see you next week.
You've just listened to the Children of Film podcast.
Man, it sucks to be you.